cold front coming to Houston, and apparently there's a cold front going to the MLB and the MLB Players Association because the talks are ice cold. Nothing's happening. Apparently they're going to meet again tomorrow, but they're not going to be talking about the core subjects. They're going to be talking about the peripheral things. So in other words, we could be looking at a delay of spring training. Who knows what's happening? So stay warm out there, and hopefully the talks start heating up. Otherwise, we're going to have delayed spring training, and we'll talk about that and more on this edition of Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at EricTalkStros. You find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and on Instagram and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
And thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, what I forget about.
Google. It doesn't matter. Megaphone, wherever you get your podcast, check us out and subscribe.
Yeah, just check us out and make sure that if you have not subscribed to us, subscribe to us on YouTube and just give us a big fat thumbs up and just like us and just show some support, man. Go and give us some YouTube support. And it sounds like with this 90-minute meeting that the players and the owners had today, it sounds like they actually took a step back. And it sounds like while it looked like they were making some forward progress, now it looks like they took a couple steps back while the players were kind of giving in a little bit. It looked like you remember how they were offering, well, we want to go ahead and say the 105. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll give in a little bit and go ahead and make 100 million. And the owners looked at them and like, really? That's what you're negotiate. We want 10 million and you want 105. Now you're going to give us 100 million. That's where you're coming down to. Yeah, that's probably when they walked out the room. I guarantee it.
So basically, you would think that when they get together and things are heated, that's good, right? Like things are heating up, we're talking, we're hashing it out. And Mr. Corona just leads off the show with the home run here. He says, if you guys had to guess, what's the one thing that's maintaining progress in the CBA negotiations? Eric, I would say it's this. The players want more money. They want more pool money. They have seen, if you look at the charts, baseball revenue, almost a dividends, baseball revenue has gone up almost 2 or 3 times what baseball player compensation has. And so if you look at the trek, I'm not going to do it because, not everybody's watching. You take 2 lines and the line on top just continues to climb up and the line on the bottom kind of trends almost just exactly horizontal. It doesn't move with it. So what has happened is there's been an increase of money going to the owners' pockets where the players' increase has not been as incremental or big. And with that being said, the players feel like they are being offered something that's not fair. The owners have stated, we feel like this is better than the previous CBA, and it actually gives players more money. MLBPA says that's wrong. I think that's a sticking point. It is an issue of money, and it is an issue of revenue, and it is an issue of who gets how much of the pie.
Yes. And it appears that Jeff Passan said that the meetings between the MLB Players Association and MLB is over. Little progress was made. The on-time opening of spring training at this point is in grave danger, frankly. It will take a miraculous deal coming together to rescue it. A delay feels inevitable. was the guys in Matrix, the guy telling Neo, it's inevitable that you're going to lose.
Yeah. Yes, those guys, Mr. Anderson, all those
Yeah.
guys that have the sunglasses on. And so
No,
sorry.
Neo was Mr. Anderson.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah, I meant the guys who said Mr. Anderson. I don't remember those guys' names, but yes, here is the deal, Eric, and we can talk about this next in the next segment. But there are some key dates that if they're not hit, that things will be delayed, and I want to save that for the next segment. But I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing a Sugarland Skeeters hat. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, a Space Cowboys hat. Wow, changes happening and changes in the air. We will have minor league baseball, Eric, in lieu of a work stoppage or lockout that is not going to get unlocked or finalized before the season. So we at least in Houston will have some baseball. We may have to like draw a line through the Astros and put locked on Space Cowboys until the Astros come in. Now I don't know if the network would go for that, but I was thinking, dude, we got to get some Space Cowboys talk. So, that is something to be excited about. The only problem is that these guys will not get the opportunity to go up to the big leagues if they're locked out.
Can you imagine if somebody like Hunter Brown gets all this experience and then all of a sudden he's the opening day starter? So it's just a weird experience. So what could happen? So a lot could happen over the next. Who knows what happens? Who knows how long this happens? But there will. Bob Nightingale say there will be a negotiation session on Wednesday between MLB and the MLB Players Association, but only be dealing with non-core economic issues. So I don't know what that means.
Is
Like,
it? I mean,
what
is
color
that when they're
shoes
talking
are you
about?
going to wear?
Well, I mean, is it about rules and stuff? Because I don't think
Yeah.
rules or DHs or universal DH or any of that stuff is really. Um, I mean, maybe because they say peripherals. Could it be sticky stuff?
Maybe something like that. So, yeah. So I would say something like that. So there's only a slight modification between the two proposals. Both sides, they're still sticking firm to what they want, and it seems like the union has been frustrated with the MLB, but now it seems like the owners are getting a little bit more frustrated because the players are kind of just not really budging themselves. So it just seems like both sides are kind of at a standstill. And John Heyman said that now both sides in the baseball labor talks are a disappointment, with MLB now joining Players Union in that regard. Union offered a couple seemingly small changes, i.e., lowering the bonus pool from 100 million to 105 million. MLB remains at 10 million. Chances to start spring on time at about February 14th is remote.
I just don't see how you don't budge from 10 million and go to maybe 50. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. It's not even it's kind of an insult. Jay Roberts says maybe Carlos Correa signs with the Space
They
Cowboys.
can't afford him.
Hey, maybe he takes a discount because he can't be employed by Major League Baseball. It would not affect his pocketbook any because he's already got a ton of money. He would just be having fun playing baseball. But Mr. Corona does mention that there is an exhibition game planned, and I believe it's March 28th between the Sugarland Skeeters and the Houston Astros. And if they're still locked out, then maybe they go
It'll be
Corpus
the
Christi Hooks.
Scrubstros.
Exactly. I hope we don't have that. I would like to see the Hooks versus the Space Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? So I keep saying Skeeters here and there, and I've got to get that word out of my system. I don't know why I keep going back to that. We were both at the reveal. Love the uniforms. I think they did a great job. I love the away uni. I'm going to definitely get one of those.
Yeah, so maybe to get that going, you need to get a Built Bar because maybe you're not thinking straight when you're hungry.
Man, today, Eric, I had one of those days. I'm not even going to tell y'all what happened because it would be embarrassing to tell you, but it was one of those days. It was a second Monday in a row, and I needed a Built Bar, and I'm so glad that I brought one to work because it was the perfect thing that I needed. It's keeping me on the right path with my diet. In other words, eating healthy. It's wrapped in 100% real chocolate. Most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Not like a candy bar that's going to be almost 300 calories, 30 grams of sugar, dozens of net carbs, and feel you leaving empty because the more empty carbs you consume, the more hungry you actually become. So grab a Built Bar. They don't have a ton of calories. They don't have a bunch of sugary junk in it, but the 100% chocolate makes it taste oh so good. Before you work out like I did, or on a rough day, grab a coconut almond, peanut butter brownie, raspberry, or get a Built Puff. Gosh, I love the Built Puff. Lemon box pie ones, they're phenomenal, and there's so many more. Built Bars always coming out with new limited time flavors, so check at built.com often to see the new flavors. Go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com.
And make sure you continue to make the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and take a moment and subscribe. It's really easy. There's this little red button that says subscribe, and go and give us a like, and that'll be great. And on your way to work, go ahead and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast. All right. So I know that we could talk hours and hours about everything that's going on, but I don't know if we really know every detail that's going on. I know that there's a little bit, the differences between the minimum salary is still there. We got the differences between the luxury tax threshold. We have the players want the 245 million, and then the owners want the 214 million. And it just seems like they're so far apart. And you have the the differences of minimum salary between the 615,000 to the 775,000. So
Yeah.
there's just so many differences here.
There's so
And
many hurdles. It's not right. It's not like it's one sticking point, Eric. And Mr. Corona, faithful listener of the show, follow the show, asked, what is the one sticking point? And I understand what he's doing, but that's the problem. There are a lot. So Jay Roberts asked, he said, like we asked a few episodes ago, who flinches first? I honestly think that the owners flinch first because the product and the value is in the players. The product and value is not in owners holding out. There's no value, and the owners are absolutely losing holding out. MLBPA, I don't know if you saw this, they actually sent out a check for $5,000 for the MLB players for the month of February
oh,
to
they did.
cover them. Yes, they did. So they
Okay.
sent them all $5,000 checks to cover for February to compensate for losses during the lockout. And of course, us common folk go, oh, millionaires, they don't need compensation. But if you had a job and you were getting paid and you were locked out, you would definitely like that kind of thing. So, Eric, here are the dates because Mr. Corona mentioned the February or early March starting, and I'm going to throw these at you. So the danger dates to be aware of. Now we know February 15th, and I believe you covered this one. February 15th is when pitchers and catchers are supposed to report. The date to worry would be February 8th. February 8th, if something's not done by then that means that date will be moved. The next date, Eric, is February 26th, which leaves you 33 days from opening day. That's when spring training officially begins. When to worry about the beginning of spring training being delayed on February 26th is February 19th. Players do need a bare minimum of 7 days to prepare for game action. There was one agent, Eric, that said in an article that he's telling his pitchers to be ready to pitch 3 innings on day one. And the last one, Eric, the last one is the doomsday one. March 31st, opening day. If something's not done by March 3rd, it's inevitable that the opening day of the 2022 season will be delayed. So the danger dates are, let me review this, February 8th, February 19th, and no, I'm sorry. Yes, February 19th and then March 3rd. So those are dates we need to mark on our calendar. We need to, not we, you and I aren't doing anything. I know what the fans want. I know what the players want. This is really driven by the owners. They have chosen to lock out. They could have not locked out. They could have said, okay, we're going to lock out, but we're going to meet every day for the next 14 days until we hash something out. I mean, to me means that you mean business. But Eric, do you think the owners flinch first, like I think, or do you think the players flinch first?
I think in the past we have seen the players kind of flinch. So I don't know. I think somebody's got to flinch because both sides can't continue to do this, or we're not going to really have a season. But basically, if you look at Marcus Stroman, he tweeted out today. He said Manfred and his boys delaying the season for no reason. Not shocking. And then he actually retweeted this, and some guy named Dugo at El Verdugo 5 tweeted out, he's the worst thing that has happened to baseball. And a professional baseball player retweeted this. So
Who's the professional baseball player?
Marcus Stroman.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant someone else.
No,
Okay.
Marcus
Wow.
Stroman retweeted this. So it's actually
Wow.
Marcus Stroman retweeted that. So he's the worst thing for baseball. And so the players are not happy with this. And it's crazy to see that the players are they're just looking for what's fair. And I talked about this in yesterday's show. I know we've talked about it before. You talked about it at the beginning of the show. The players are looking for more of the pie. They feel like the owners are getting a big portion of the pie, and they just want a little bit more of the pie. And the owners are just like, no, we're coming off this 2021 season. The 2020 season where we lost a lot of money. And then, so there's a lot of issues on both sides. Both sides want what they want. And
that's the thing. The owners know what they're getting, and the owners know what they have. They don't want to give it up. It's hard to give up something that you've already been getting. Okay.
you almost need an arbitrator at this point, just a neutral
Well,
party to
I'll
come
tell
in.
you this: if the opening day is delayed, and if MLBPA takes this to court, I think they win. I just think they win. I think because you look at what the Players Association wants versus what's being received on the owner's end and what's not being given to the players from that as a result, I think a judge might or an arbiter might come in favor of the players. And at
But
the
the
end of the day,
problem with that is there's so much that goes into it that would take a long time. It's not something that
no, you're right. You're right. I'm just saying, I
this
think if
would
it
take
goes that
weeks and
far,
months. And
right. But I think if it
so
goes that far, ultimately the players get what they want. The bottom line is, who are they going to grin and bear it? Eric, could they do this? And this is just a random thought. And if someone wants to slam me for this online, I could really give two craps. But could they agree to a CBA that only goes for like a shorter term or not a long-term deal, maybe a short-term deal until they work out some other things in a long-term manner? You know how the government will like raise the debt ceiling for a year so they can keep spending money like drunken sailors. Would MLB and the MLBPA, would they do that? Would they do a shortened deal to get it started? Or is that not even something that would be considered? I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't think so, because you're just postponing the
Okay, so
crap
yeah,
storm.
you're just
You're
kind
just
of pushing
delaying
the
it.
S
Yeah,
down the hill, right?
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just like, okay, yeah, we can't get our crap together now. So yeah, we're gonna be able to figure this out next year. Not really. So let's just push it.
Yeah, push it down the hill. That's right. Just keep shoveling the
Yeah.
down the hill.
And maybe we'll have a different commissioner by then who has different ideas. But I don't see them just pushing it to the side. And
Yeah, I just wondered. It was just a thought. But hey, I'm like I'm the always positive guy. I'm trying to
yeah,
think of ways to think outside the box. That's why I
there's
asked.
a reason why they do it 5-year deals. Just because you don't want to do this. This is a nasty negotiation. And it used to be, I'm sure, it was never really civil, but right now it just feels like they have no common ground.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's crazy. I wouldn't bet on the season starting time. I wouldn't bet on spring training starting time. I wonder what BetOnline would say.
So BetOnline has you covered this season with more props and odds and lines than ever before. As football continues its march through the playoffs, right to the big game here in a couple weeks, BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. Are you going to bet on Joe Burrow? You know why you probably should. Joe Burrow is going to become, if he wins a Super Bowl, the first player to win a Heisman in college, a national championship in college, and a Super Bowl. Go bet on that. I bet you there's a lot of people laying money down on Mr. Burrow, Mr. LSU Tiger, the Ohio boy who brought his team all the way to the Super Bowl. And it's not just football, though. BetOnline has up to the minute info on pro and college hoops. College hoops is crazy on fire right now. NHL, boxing, UFC is always exciting, along with live real-time updates of current games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available for the 2022 season. Bet online where the game starts.
All right. So Jay Roberts says, I know players can't work out the team coaches and staff, but can the players work out with your teammates? Yeah.
Absolutely.
They
Oh
have cell
yeah.
phones.
Yeah. No, yeah, they can work out together. They just can't have a
Hey, Carlos, you want to go work out? Yeah, Lance, let's go.
yeah, no. They are absolutely allowed to
I
work
know
out.
Carlos
They're
and Lance, but they're friends. But I'm sure they still work out together.
right. Well, they just can't work out at major league
Right.
facilities. I know you had mentioned before. I was listening, like U of H, just different fields out there that are available. They have training. I mean, Bregman has a training facility that he uses here in Houston, a local place. I know Marwan Gonzalez used to hit in a cage down here in the Deer Park area. They've got local areas. Heck, Hunter Pence even has a him and his brother run a hitting academy in Houston. And I'm sure these players help each other out. And you've got all kinds of catchers. You've got your bullpen catchers that probably need to work anyways. And so I guarantee you, Bracamonte and all these guys get together with Lance and the boys, and they're throwing and they're going through their routines. They're not sitting on the couch wasting away eating chips. They are working and getting ready for the season.
Yeah. So Jay Roberts also said that if they decide to be stubborn and compromise the season, I will send my 2020 likeness. I'm thinking he means his cardboard cutout to the stands, and he'll watch the Sugarland. No, almost did it. The Space Cowboys team exclusively. So, yeah, Jay, if you're gonna actually pay to send your cardboard cutout to watch the Astros, I know a couple of people who'd love to have your tickets. So just reach out to us.
Yeah, let us know. We will be your cardboard cutouts. I'll just write cardboard cutout on my shirt and I'll be your stand-in any day.
Yeah. So I hopefully they'll get it. I think if anything, we may have a shortened 2 to 3 week spring training. Hopefully they
I'm
get
going with that.
things. Yeah, but I don't know. The longer this goes, the longer this. I don't. I don't really know at this point. And
Hey,
I want to give myself props. I did say February 9th was the kind of deadline for them, but I guess according to the article you read, they need the extra travel day. Baseball players.
well, here's the deal. I do want to mention this, something that's exciting, and it is pretty much set. We don't have our lineup completed. We know some people are going to be showing up, meeting us there. But get this, folks, at the Social Beer Garden this month, February 17th, the Rockets have an away game against the LA Clippers. Okay. And we are going to be at the Social Beer Garden, Locked On Astros, with Locked On Rockets and Locked On Texans, all doing a live broadcast from the Social Beer Garden. They got a brand new 20-foot Jumbotron. It's on San Jacinto Street. We will be sharing y'all the address. Dustin, the GM, has got us all set up for this. We are excited. We've got some special guests that will be coming and hanging out with us. It will be really cool. There will be food there. There will be drinks. Come by and see us. If you haven't met Jackson, you haven't met Cody and the guys from the Locked On Texans, It's going to be a fun event, Eric. We're going to do a live broadcast, and after that, we're going to stay after. We're going to watch the game together. We're going to have a big watch party, and who cares if the season's locked out or not? We're still here having fun. We're going to blow it up. It's going to be an H-Town takeover. Houston will have the best Locked On shows in all the land. We will be leading the pack this year, and in 2022, we are kicking butt and chewing bubble gum. And you know what? I'm all out of bubble gum, and that's what we're all about. So I just want to tell the people. We'll give you more details. Check out Instagram, check out Twitter. We'll let you know as time comes when to meet us there. We'd love to see everybody out there.
Yeah, I know that Samuel brought this up, and actually I wanted to bring this up after the Space Cowboy event, but after that he was working out. Mark Berman went to the gym and saw him working out, and Corey Lee said that he's preparing to help the Astros win the World Series. Now, whether he participates a lot in 2022, that's to be determined because the Astros already do have two catchers. I know Martin Maldonado is not the best hitter at this stage of his career, but at the same time, you do have he is a great defensive catcher, but we saw at the end of the playoffs, they kind of went away from using a machete a little bit and went to a little bit more Castro. But so maybe they go with three catchers at some point this season with the 26 players. And who knows what they do with the CBA? Maybe they add an extra 27th player just to appease the players. Who knows what happens?
Dude, I'm for a 30-man roster. I
No,
don't care.
that's too many. Can you imagine all the pitching changes that Dusty Baker would make? He would be like,
well, so with all the nuances, you know how they keep changing the game. I just hope they don't try to tinker with the game anymore. Like you can only use so many pitchers in a game like that. Because they've done all these other things.
mm-hmm.
The bottom line is this. Again, as we stated before, the major sticking point is the money. The major sticking point is the players feeling like the owners have gotten more and more wealthy while the players have gotten more wealthy. But like you stated before, like 67+% of the players make league minimum. Most of them aren't making the Springer, the Trout, the Lindor, the Scherzer, the Cole, the Tatis money. A lot of the players are making league minimum. And while that's still a lot of money to common people, if you are in an organization that makes billions of dollars and they're getting billions of dollars of revenue, and you're the reason why that revenue is coming in. Now, the real sticking point, Eric, too, is the smaller market teams, right? Like the larger market teams really have an argument, but it's like you mentioned, the Pirates. It's the cellar dwellers. It's the teams. Well, I guess the Rangers are still cellar dwellers until they get out of the cellar, but it's the teams that aren't as good on the field that, these players like, we still want money too. So there are just so many little things that they just need to hash out and move on and get over it so we can have some freaking baseball.
Yeah. So something else I wanted to mention was actually I got distracted with all the comments over here, but it was about I totally forgot what I was going to say, but Justin Verlander is something. The reason why I put him on the thumbnail is I think that this will kind of affect Justin Verlander, the delayed spring training. I know he's the ultimate veteran. He's been around. He's done this before, but he's coming off Tommy John, and he was probably banking on a full spring training to kind of build up his arm strength. So we'll see how this affects him. It's yeah. What I was thinking of is Cameron Maybin, the former Astro from that 2017 season. He said that he thinks that the best pure hitter, Alex Bregman, is primed for a great season.
I think Cameron Maybin is a smart man, and you and I have chronicled it on this show since we've started seeing his workout videos. And I mean, the revelation of him having the broken hand, right?
And makes sense. You can't hit with a broken hand.
No, I'm like, because, and that was the thing. We were like, what in the hell is going on with Bregman? He's just not hitting. Well, no crap, he's not hitting. And dude, he's motivated. This guy heard all the people talking, and maybe someone like named H-Town Wheelhouse said some things about maybe losing the eye of the tiger, or has he lost it, or does he have the desire? He is, and that's what players need to do. They need to find the motivation in the right ways. And it sounds like, dude, he's like, I'm preparing to be an all-star shortstop, not play shortstop, but I'm preparing like a shortstop so I can play third even better. And I think at the plate, dude, he's going to be an absolute beast this year.
Yeah. No, I cannot hit with a broken hand. That
Yes,
was
hey man, hey Trev Stroh's got it right. You're right. If me and Eric can hit with a broken hand, no, we are definitely kidding on that. I would never try to go in the box and take on Bregman. Eric, I remember watching him in college. I've talked about this before at LSU. He was so amazing watching as a freshman and sophomore. He won Freshman of the Year in the SEC. I mean, he's a gamer. He's an absolute stud. He's got that edge back. I don't think he ever lost it, but he's got it.
Yeah. So there's been a lot going on this week, and nothing has been good in terms of the CBA front. It looks like they're making positive strides, but all that kind of backfired Tuesday when we had that surprise meeting, and 90 minutes later, it's like, yeah, we thought we were going to have some type of agreement, but unfortunately, it just looks like it's still the same old, same old. I don't know why anybody thought this would be any different. And so maybe time will tell. Time is not on our side, unfortunately. Spring training is supposed to start pretty soon. And the Astros still don't have a shortstop unless you're willing to ride and die with Jeremy Pena.
Yes.
And I'm good with that. But you do need to go out and get a backup. And the Astros cannot do that until they have the CBA is in place. And I know Ledmus Diaz is technically the backup, but he's better as a backup for every position because you need another backup shortstop. Because Ledmus Diaz, what if something happens to somebody else? He needs place
Right.
elsewhere.
So Eric's going with 4 shortstops and 9 pitchers.
Are
I'm
we doing
sorry.
this again? Are we doing this again?
Come on, man. Hey, to your credit, you had a couple people on Twitter stick up for you and say I agree with Eric, and so touche. I concede the point you made. You made an excellent point, even though I tried to argue it. But that's what we do on the show. That's why this show is great. And it's great because you make us your first listen every day. We thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing to Locked On Astros. Anytime you watch a video, please hit the like button. And when you watch one, share it with a friend. Send it by text message. Watch it from your phone. Send it to 3 people you know via text. It's easy. It's simple. Locked On Astros. We're your team every day.
Alrighty, that's all we got for this edition. And we'll talk to you later. Go Astros, and let's get some baseball going. Please. Thank you.